Are there any constituent statements by honourable members? I give the call to the member for Macpherson.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Members may remember I spoke in the House earlier this year about celiac disease to raise awareness of the community prevalence, the symptoms and the management of the disease. Celiac disease is an immune-based illness caused by gluten, and it's estimated to affect 1 in 70 Australians, but unfortunately 80% are undiagnosed. This is a significant medical condition which, if undiagnosed or mistreated, can cause serious health problems. For those with celiac disease, there is no cure. Management of the disease comes with a lifelong gluten-free diet. This takes a lot of research, questioning and label reading to maintain, but when done correctly, a lifelong gluten-free diet can prevent or reverse many of the symptoms of this illness. Australia currently has the tightest regulations and the lowest levels of gluten in gluten-free food, enabling those with celiac disease to make informed decisions about the foods that can have a profound impact on their health. Of concern is the current proposal to raise the limit of allowable gluten in gluten-free food from no detectable gluten to 20 parts per million gluten. I appreciate that countries such as the USA and Canada accept 20 parts per million. I note the argument being put by those supporting a loosening of the current Food Standards Australia and New Zealand definition that as testing technology becomes more advanced and sophisticated and much lower levels of gluten can be detected, it will become increasingly difficult for manufacturers to meet the current definition of an undetectable level of gluten. And I understand that those with celiac disease want a wide choice of food to eat, but they do rely on correct food labelling to choose foods that are appropriately and correctly marked as gluten-free and therefore safe for them to consume. In my view, and I know the view of others, the continuing health of those diagnosed with celiac disease should be the priority in determining labelling of gluten-free foods. So a safe level of gluten is certainly more important than manufacturing ease and cross-contamination issues. In 2013, in a letter published in the Australian Medical Journal, Dr Geoffrey Forbes noted that there are few high-quality studies determining a safe gluten intake for patients with celiac disease, although it is known that tolerable amounts vary between patients. He refers to a 2011 United States Food and Drug Administration safety report that concluded that gluten levels in food of less than 1 part per million are required to protect the greatest number of patients with celiac disease. I agree with Dr Forbes' comments in that letter that the concept of doing no harm in healthcare is paramount. Increasing the permissible level of gluten from undetectable to less than 20 parts per million will increase the overall amount of gluten that is ingested in a gluten-free diet. And for an as-yet undetermined proportion of patients with celiac disease, this will lead to adverse health outcomes and generate additional health costs. I strongly oppose the proposed changes to allow gluten levels in gluten-free foods, as the proposed new gluten-free standard may not be safe for those individuals who have celiac disease.